I'm Victoria from V-Move Estate Agents, and I'm going to talk to you today about whether you should look for your next home before you put your current home on the market. This is kind of specifically more geared towards those that are living in their forever home that they presumed would be forever, but knowing obviously at some point the decision's going to have to come where they need to what we call downsize or up life, if you've read the blogs. So there's one very, very unusual reason that I don't think it's always considered, but we're finding that there's more and more cases of this happening. So if you think about downsizing, so we start on here, and I'll try and go clockwise. So this is you as a new buyer, and then you decide you want to buy your first home. So that might be a 2 up, 2 down, might be might be a flat, might be a second floor flat or something really exciting. And then you move to maybe either a Victorian semi or a 1930s semi. We've got a lot of them in the area. You might start a family and then move up to your 4-bed house, and then just through job changes and your situation becoming far easier financially, you'll move up to this beautiful dream home. So this is probably where you're at the moment. Now, when you decide to downsize, you generally go from this lovely dream home. You don't go back down to the flat that you had as a beginner, as your first beautiful home that you absolutely adored. You generally cut across, and you'll either go from a big 5-bed with loads of land to maybe a 4-bed. We're seeing, or a push, your first downsize might be to a 3-bed property, a 3-bed detached, so you're not wanting to go too far from where you are. Now, the owners of those properties are busy, so they have got jobs, they have probably got children and a dog. They're desperate to upsize because the house doesn't quite fit them, so every time they prep for a viewing, it takes a lot longer because they don't fit in their house anymore, which is why they're selling. They're wanting to move up the ladder. So what we're hearing more and more is, I'm too busy, I don't have time, please only bring people around that are in a position to purchase or close to a position to purchase. So it might be somebody that's in a great area who's getting lots of interest. So, reason number one about, as an argument to make sure that you put your house on the market first is it puts you in a better position so you can see other houses. Okay, so that's number one. A very, very unusual reason, but it's going to help you in the long run. It's going to make everything easier. When you're deciding to downsize, it's quite a difficult choice you've made. So what we want to try and do is make everything as easy as possible by actually getting you through the doors of the houses that you want to see that could potentially be your next home. Number two, what happens if you find the home that you love? So this is quite a big one. This is sort of number 2 and 3 sort of combined. If you find the home that you love before you've sold, unless you're in a very, very fortunate position where you can purchase without selling, the chances are you can lose that house. And the emotional decision and that another loss, if you've read the blog, you'll know about downsizing. It's a little bit of loss versus a gain all the time, because although you're gaining a better life from it, it is a loss to lose the home that your kids might have grown up in, that you've spent a lot of time on, and that you've thoroughly enjoyed over the last 10, 12, 15 years. So finding that next home that will be suitable for you and not being able to purchase it can be quite disheartening, really. There is always another house. I'm a big believer in when you're in a position, things almost magically appear. But yeah, you don't want to suffer that sort of disappointment. So really, if you're on the market in a position, the notes of interest that you put on your properties that you fall in love with are taken far more seriously. So avoiding disappointment and getting a house that you love and being able to proceed is far easier. Okay, so big homes. So do you remember this? We did where we've got the massive home here that you're in, that you absolutely love. I'm going to draw you another picture now. Bear with me, I'll just find a thing. In fact, I'll do it above here. So this is my triangle. At the very tip of this home, of this triangle, this bit here, are all the buyers for your big home. So you've got this big home, 3 acres of land, maybe stables at the bottom of the garden, potential to extend, you might even have a swimming pool. You've got a games rooms, 3 reception rooms, and the most beautiful kitchen you could ever imagine. but for prices and houses that are premium and unique, which we deal with very often, the pool of buyers is much smaller. Therefore, your home could take longer to sell. I have done a huge amount of research in our area on how long things take to sell and what potential figures you are likely to achieve, and I would be happy to share that with you. But it's just a quick insight that your home, despite what anybody says, because nobody can guarantee you a quick sale, your home could take longer to sell. So it's being prepared that actually if you start looking and then decide to put your house on the market, that gap can get longer and longer and longer. Okay, number 4, very, very quickly, you don't want to rush your launch. So connected to that, by rushing your launch, you can help your home to fail on the market. That was almost right. So don't rush your launch. It is very, very important that a unique and premium home is launched slowly to market, and it's launched correctly to market. The launch is the biggest, it's the very, very important part. The marketing is so important. Please don't rush it. By rushing it, you could undersell yourself. Okay, and probably the big one is if you do find the home that you love and you haven't yet sold yours, you have 2 things are going to happen. You're going to overpay for the home that you want. So you're going to offer them full asking price in order to hold it for yourself. And then in order to proceed, if you need some of the money out of your house, you will offer your house a sale at a lower price, which means that actually you could lose twice, which is not what we want. So, you know, you'll offer yours cheap to get rid of it, to go quick, and you will purchase a home at the premium price because you're not in a position, or because you need to get that home because you found it and fell in love with it, which means that actually your pool of resources that you have and the reason for downsizing is smaller. You know, you might be downsizing to leave money to children, grandchildren, or just to do what you want in life, and of course that pot then becomes much, much smaller. So there are my, I don't know if there was 4, 5 or 6 reasons there to put your home on the market before you look. If you want to have a chat about this or any aspect of downsizing, and it can just be a cup of coffee, although I don't drink coffee, it can be a cup of coffee if you want one, in the office, or you can come and see you at your home, because, you know, truth is, you probably want to have an outside level head to make sure that you're informed, making the right decisions. So if we can help at all, 01524 230 722, if you ask for myself or Katie, we'll be happy to schedule a time to come and do a consultation with you. Just have a chat.